Hello everyone, how are you? I hope you're well. Today we're going to do a binder organization video, which is without adding any new photo cards at all, because we're moving my collection over to these new binder sleeves I got. They are the Sultan brand. I threw away the packaging because I unfortunately got too excited when I unboxed it, and I actually sliced through one of them towards the back. So basically I just threw away the packaging because the packaging was like destroyed over on this. These ones are a little bit thicker. They're also PVC free, so technically I don't need to sleeve my cards anymore when I put them in. But yeah, so I thought I would just talk about a bunch of things that I've noticed, at least in my comment section, for the one or two commenters that have left something. That looks really nice. Sorry, just a quick interruption. I'm very happy where we landed on these because they are much clearer. The only drawback is they are a little bit shorter than the previous version. So as you can see the back here, like if you use the Bantex sleeves, they're obviously much more like taller. So yeah, but I can live with that for sure. Anyway, back to the question. I saw a couple of comments that I thought I should just respond to it, and also try to get you to get to know me a little bit better as well. You know, if you have been watching the videos and wondering who I am and like, you know, kind of my collecting thoughts and sort of my philosophy in a way. So yeah, let's get started. The first question that I noticed someone has asked me, and I've also tried my best to be very helpful, is how do I procure stuff? So how do I get some of these items that, you know, obviously I have my hands on. Whoops. That's not really, yeah, I hope that works. These slip on much nicely as well compared to when I was using those Bantex sleeves. Yeah, so I'm very happy with my purchase. Yeah, so how do I procure stuff? So basically my preference is group order managers, so group orders that are open in my country, because you know it's usually handled by fellow fans who like either use these group orders to like manage because they want to get into fan signs, or because they wanted to share the cost of shipping to the country. And that's mainly like number one reason why I like using group order managers, is because you can actually for sure share like full item shipping costs. And at least for my country, for Indonesians, they usually have like local warehouses in Korea to send stuff to. So we really only pay for shipping across from the shipping from locally, like a Korean shipping fee, and then there's additional fees when you ship it over here. But yeah, overall, because it's like a group and then you divide it by, you know, X number of people that join that group order, so you're able to really save some money, and yeah, and kind of stagger when they're sending as well. In my country at least, there's a lot of like, I think customs fees and weird like bureaucratic red tape that you kind of have to figure out when you import goods as well, and group order managers are experts at that, so I really prefer doing that. And also it's really fun because you all together kind of get your stuff at the same time. So yeah, for me it's like the community aspect and also the convenience aspect makes me like group order managers. I do these also not just for official merch drops, so like not only for albums and photo books, but also for photo cards, because again, because there's a big kind of K-pop community in my country, so there's enough people that hold these like big chat groups on WhatsApp or online or whatever it is, and then they go ahead and buy these cards, additional cards from Korean sellers who then ship it to their Korean warehouse, and then all together we kind of shop together. It's almost like yeah, I think the easiest way to say is like a shopping club, right? So on the group chat, the group order manager will, and their admins will ask like, what is your interest on these items, like, and people, oh, I just realized I made a mistake there. This should be the first one. Yeah, sorry, what I was saying was they would ask like, you know, if anyone's interested in the item, and then usually it's like, let's say 2 or 3 people in one group that wanted to buy that from that specific seller, and then all together you'll share cost to do that. So it's really quite an interesting and niche community, I would say. I've never been involved in anything like it, even in my adult life. So for me, that's like one of the most interesting aspects of being in this community in a way, because you really get to know a lot of people, you join communities, everyone's like excited about the group that you're standing as well. So yeah, I hope that explains a little bit and why sometimes I always mention like I have a group order manager in, you know, in some of my videos, and I say I'm gonna do that maybe, or actually, you know what, I'll switch that way. Yeah, why I always say like shout out to group order managers is because that's kind of the way that I shop. I don't really go on the official store and buy it, and I'm quite lucky to do that actually. So I very much recognize that that's definitely a privilege, especially if you stand kind of underrated groups. Well, N.Flying's not underrated. N.Flying's really big in Korea, but like not so international friendly websites, for example, like because you have group order managers that are helping you with this stuff, so you're able to get it like a little bit easier than normal. I think people who live in countries that don't have these kind of like big communities can definitely miss out and are not able to access that. So yeah, I'm grateful that I'm able to do that. Other question, I think what people normally would ask a collector is how do you choose to collect? And I've gone back and forth about that, especially in this channel. I think at some point, for example, a good example is this J-Dong collection. I remember I posted a video about me wanting to complete the entire On the Track album. Sorry, on the whatever, what is his solo debut album. And obviously that didn't end up happening because I just want, you know, I think later on down the line after the album was released, I bought a bunch of albums. I just wanted to fill in on 9 Pocket page. So the way I choose is really like my mood and also my finance. I would say like those are the two aspects. So like I really don't like I'm not like a very completionist kind of person, because I do like variety in either the front pose or the back pose of any of these cards. So for me, in fact, like what I prioritize is like the kind of the concepts. Do I have variety of concepts? Is there like, if it's a music video, like am I getting a lot of the photo shoots from the music video accordingly? Like if it gets too monotonous, like it'll be one outfit in different poses, I don't really like tend to go for that. Or maximum I would go for like maybe 2 or 3 of those cards, and I don't try to complete everything. Yeah, so that's kind of how I feel like. And I also often, I think what people might be realizing if they watch these videos quite for a long time, at least for me, like maybe if you watch the last 2 or 3, stuff disappears from my binders like all the time, which is to say like I am quite selective in like what I choose to collect. So like once I go through my binders and I'm like, oh, that doesn't look good anymore, or I don't really want this card anymore, I will go ahead and kind of like sell it. So a good example, as we're talking about this, is like these fan kit cards. I remember I put away like 4 of these, which because there are 4 of these cards, I actually ended up saying I wanted to choose just 2 of them, and then I chose the 2 that I most liked, and then I sold the remaining 2, and someone has already gotten that. So in a way, like I don't get too attached to these collections, I think, as a lot of collectors do, because they want to be completionist, or they, you know, kind of like it. I just really go by like what visually is appealing to me at the time, and go ahead and sell off, or like hand over the other cards that I don't really like want anymore in my collection. So yeah, I've been trying really hard to be disciplined in that front, because like I do feel like if I'm hanging on to cards that like maybe other people were, you know, wanting, you know, I feel so much better if I'm able to give that card to them. You know, I could sell it at a reasonable price instead of like overpricing it like some of these, you know, like listings are. I'm also able to help out other collectors in their collection, and they really wanted that card to complete their collection. I'm able to help out. So like I really view it as more like that community kind of like feel than it is for like the my own selfish desires to own everything that has Jahun's face on it, for example. So yeah, that for me is preferable. Another question people would also ask, like what kind of, like, I guess, sacrifices you would typically do in order to like have a collection for people who are thinking about how to start collecting. I would say like finance is probably the biggest factor for me, to be frank, and I think, you know, a collector would lie if that's not their main kind of concern, because in a way we live in a society that, you know, obviously you need money for like to do stuff. So yeah, for me it's really about how to think about, like, you know, what you want to be investing in the hobbies, if this is kind of still a fun thing for you to do, if you have spare money to do it. And I'm always constantly thinking about that. Like I have collections where I'm not really you know, catchy. I'm playing catch up because I, like, at the time didn't have extra cash for me to kind of start collecting, so I don't really force myself to do it. So yeah, I would say that's kind of one of my main considerations. The other is obviously like, if you like a group, this is one thing that I want to remind other people also, is that if you like a group, it doesn't necessarily mean anything that if you're collecting them, right? Which is like, collecting is supposed to be like a really, okay, that's the right side, a fun hobby, and it's supposed to bring you joy, which it does completely for me. It gives me a sense of calm and chill. I love watching even, like, you know, collector videos of people who I don't even collect or I don't even necessarily know, and I actually got to know a lot of groups that way because I was watching a lot of the things that they were doing, and, you know, the albums that they were unboxing. And that to me is like a nice activity for me at the end of the day. I'm trying to check where, okay, so I put it before the photo books, so would it go that way? Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah, so that's really it. I'm getting to the end of this putting away video, so I'm just gonna slip these in. Obviously I still need to work on what sleeves that are like a little bit too tall for the top row, but otherwise I think and overall they all fit really well. They're so nicely like slipped. I wish, obviously I don't, that's another thing about me, is I try not to regret too many things, but obviously, like, it would have been better if I like upgraded my binder sleeves a little bit earlier in the week, or a little bit earlier in the process. Then I would have had this very nice, satisfying page. So yeah, I think that's about it. I'm going to move over these 10 pocket pages back to where it was before. So maybe I'll put them in between the Jade on. You know, one thing that's bothering me though about this side of my collection, of N.Flying collection, is I don't like that I have I have 3 empty pocket pages here in Jade on. I've been really trying hard and thinking about whether I should just combine his albums. So like, let's give it a shot here, and then I'll move some of these photo cards over. So I think it should be 6, right? Okay, so let's give that a shot. And then I won't have too many empty pages that I can then use for my other collections instead. So let's try that. Oh, if we do that, then we can just move over these. Oh, but now I will still not have enough pages. I'm just putting them randomly for now. So because it's 6, right? Oh, and then these have to go on another page, which is still takes up space, but I think it wastes less with those 3 slots that initially was over in the other. I'm trying to find the right pocket pages. Okay, so if we do this, oh, I have one right here. Never mind. So that's what it looks like now. I think that's better. So I hope that's good. All well. I hope this video was entertaining. I know it's a bit different, but I hope you're well and healthy, and I'll see you definitely in the next one. Take care.